we'll finish by talking David Coote because we need to obviously stress that this is unverified video at the moment. So far, it sounds like David Coote has accepted that it is real, and he's been suspended pending full investigation. It's obviously more directly related to Liverpool because he's talking about Liverpool, he's talking about Jurgen Klopp, but it does sort of fuel wider conspiracy theories, for want of a better term, that certain officials have it in for certain clubs. I mean, what did you make of that? It was a shocking video, really, wasn't it?
I just don't know. Well, I was going to say I don't know what he was thinking. I'm not sure he was thinking, judging by how he came across in the video. I think he was definitely a bit of an after party at some point. It had clearly been a long night, and to put yourself in that position as a top Premier League referee just cannot have been thinking straight at all. And obviously it's come back to bite him now a few years further down the line. I mean, it's a dreadful look for PGMOL at a time when everyone, you know, the focus is on them week after week anyway. I can imagine Coote's colleagues, just the sort of collective groan of disbelief when they all saw the videos, like, this is going to make our job even harder. Because there is, you know, there's always that feeling, certainly amongst fans, of bias and, you know, corruption and stuff like that. And I've never bought into that. I've never believed that corruption or anything like that is anything to do with this. But bias, I think, as a human being, it's very hard, I would suggest, because these are all big football fans. You know, you don't get into refereeing unless you're a big football fan and, you know, you love the sport. So you're clearly going to have an allegiance to a club, whether that's disclosed or not. And so that it's very hard to think that maybe personal bias doesn't sometimes creep into something. You would hope it doesn't, but human nature just dictates that it might. And so you've always had that sort of, you know, fans will always be thinking that in the back of their minds. And just seeing something like this, I mean, if you're a Liverpool fan now, you're obviously going back over every decision that David Coote has taken against your club and saying, well, it makes sense now, and things like that. And I'm not saying that he has made those decisions because of bias, but that's just the feeling when you watch a video like this. That's the feeling as a fan you're going to think. So it's a terrible look for PGMOL and a terrible look, obviously, for David Coote. Like you said, an investigation is now going on. So we'll have to wait and see what the sort of findings are from that. But I mean, it's tough to see a way back for him after something like this. And it's come at a worst possible time for Howard Webb and PGMOL, given how much scrutiny that organisation is already under.